right, hello everybody. Pop culture curator here. So good to see you all. It's a Monday afternoon, day, depending on where you're at. And I wanted to apologize first. I don't know why I end up starting these streams with apologies, but I've got an external hard drive that has all my material on it, and it's giving me warning signs that it's going out. And I was locking up when I was trying to prepare for the stream. I wasn't even able to create the thumbnail at first, but I had to review it a few times, and I was able to do that. So that's the reason why we're running late. And I'll try to get caught up, and I'm going to try to get this stream going, considering we're already a half hour late. I'll try to get us caught up, and we'll go smoothly and quickly as possible tonight because I know a lot of people have to work tomorrow. So first of all, I wanted to say hello to my esteemed fellow panelists, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. First of all, how are you doing, Gorilla?
Doing pretty good.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I hope you're doing well.
And
And
not in jail, so
that's definitely a blessing, I would say.
yeah.
PvP, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Good day. Work flew by pretty fast today, which is always nice. So, Yep.
Oh yeah, nice and productive. I agree.
yeah, that's right.
And Jill, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I also had some computer trouble today. My Wi-Fi adapter died, as did the Bluetooth along with it.
Oh.
But luckily, I connect via Ethernet, so I'm okay. And I just have to use the audio cable.
Oh, it's too bad. What crazy day. What is going on with all these computers? Seriously.
It's like I said, it's opposite day because mine's actually running pretty decent for once.
Yeah, and you sound great, so at least somebody's got their working right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to hear that. Since I had computer trouble, normally what I do is I watch the episode ahead of time, so I'm prepared for the stream. But I was busy trying to reboot and repair the hard drive so I can create the thumbnail and schedule tonight's stream. So I was not able to watch the entire episode. I was only able to watch about the first half. So I'm going to have to rely on my fellow panelists and everybody in the chat to remind me what happens.
And also remember, I take screenshots of every scene, so your memory will be reminded easily.
Yes, I have. Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate that, Jill. I've seen it before, but it's been a long time, but I'm sure it'll start coming back to me. But I do appreciate it. Jill always does a wonderful job with slides, which is a big benefit. If it wasn't for her, with my hard drive acting up the way it is, we wouldn't be having the stream tonight because I'm sure the hard drive would be locking up before I could even get through the episode. I've got to make sure to work on it tonight and tomorrow before our horror sci-fi stream tomorrow. We're doing scanners, and I'm going to make sure that my hard drive is going to be working for that. So I will do my best. I don't want to disappoint again everybody if you're out there. And also, I normally feed my dogs before the stream starts, but since I was so busy trying to get everything ready, I was not able to do that. I may have to step away for a couple minutes here to fill up their dog dish and their water.
Well, here, if you go feed the dogs, I'll start greeting the chat here.
Yeah, Gorilla is going to help me out with the chat. I'll mute and I'll be right back, guys. Thank you, Gorilla.
Alrighty. So, welcome, Mikey Sue's for. He says, no worries, Pop.
Hey, Mikey.
Started a little late tonight here. Mikey says, FYI, Michael J. Pollard also starred in the TOS episode Miri as the head male teen. Yeah, I remember that. I thought he looked familiar. I couldn't quite put my tongue on it, but I try to fog out Miri the best I can.
Yeah, he was definitely way too old for that role. That's for sure.
Yeah. And welcome Scurvy here. He says, hail, Pop. I'm all Pop saying hello there. Mikey saying hey to Scurvy. Scurvy says, Mikey. PvP saying hi to everybody. Hi, PvP. Scurvy says saying hi to PvP. PvP said hi, Mikey. Hi, Scurvy. And welcome, Mad Scientist. Welcome, welcome. He says hi to all. He doesn't discriminate. He likes us all. Or at least he says hi to us all there.
Hi, Mad Scientist.
He's scientist.
Yeah, Scurvy says greeting the Mad. And welcome, Suzanne Eckstein. She says, hello, Pop. Hello, Jill. PvP, hello.
Hello, Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Scurvy, hiya. Mad Scientist, hello. And Scurvy says, hey, Suzanne, welcome. Suzanne says, Mikey, hello. And Mike says, hello, Miss Sextine and Mad Scientist. And Scurvy says, hey, Gorilla and Jilla. There's your new name. There's your new name, Jilla. Yeah, at least it got past the Spartacus. Now you're
I
just
know.
Jilla.
Right? Well, Kronos isn't here. Hello, Lemon Pie.
And Suzanne's finally saying hi to me. She's, hello, Suzanne. She says, hey, Pop, they're looking for you at Sci-Fi. Well, I'm guessing at Sci-Fi Nation. And she
Yeah.
says, well, if they want to let them know we're live, go ahead, go for it. And Cinema Gulp says, hey, everyone.
Oh, hello, Ben.
I don't, who's Ben? I see a
Cinema
Cinema
Gulp.
Gulp, but no Ben.
Cinema Gulp is Ben.
Oh, you doxed him. Gotcha.
No, not doxing him. He doxes himself on his own channel, so it's okay for me.
All right, Mikey says, Suzanne, I'm watching the episode on Daily Motion stream to catch up. Oh, I don't use Daily Motion. I use Soap today. It's a lot better. Mikey says, hello, Cinema. Suzanne says, Cinema Golf, hello. And welcome, Jay Aldridge. Welcome. Howdy. I'm just so proud to be here. Well, we're proud to have you there, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Okay.
And Mike says, hello, brother Jay. I hope you're doing better, my brother. And Peter Ryder, welcome. Not captive. Oh, I didn't know you were on. So much for YouTube notifications. Yeah, I know, right? I loved my favorite one was when I got the notification. What was it? 28 hours after the person went live.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
That was my favorite one.
That's hilarious.
Jay says, not really, still a little weak from all the testing today, but thanks, mister. I hope your tests come out the way you want them to be. Now, we are all caught up here, so go ahead and start that. All right. Any preliminary thoughts? We're waiting for Pop. Oh, I suppose you need me to bring it up, don't you?
There we are.
No, the one thing I noticed in this episode is that everything was cosmic versus I think it was a Star Trek there that everything's space, or the Star Wars everything's something space.
This show, they say everything's space. Like, do you want to play space chess with Will? Even though Will wasn't in the episode, they reference him a lot.
Yeah, but now everything was cosmic this episode.
Yeah,
and they also have space salad.
Actually, this was written by Jackson Gillis, the same guy who wrote My Friend Mr. Nobody. And if I think back to Mr. Nobody, I think the word cosmic was used in that as the entity was like some kind of cosmic force. I think the phrase was.
Oh.
So I guess maybe cosmic's one of those words that Jackson Gillis liked to use. I just
they wanted it to sound more sci-fi and stuff.
There's some cosmic for you.
Yeah, I think it was all encompassing. It's supposed to mean a lot of things.
I think it's also supposed to mean something that's a little bit mysterious, perhaps. Maybe. I don't know.
Yes, to another world. Yes, a doorway to another world. That's what this episode's about. So yes, another dimension.
Yeah. Okay. Mikey here said, of course, sir. Glad that you are all right. And Peter says, I'm actually on another panel, but so are 6 other people, and it's very boring where I am. Oh, that sucks. I know how it can be on those. See, I do not like those big panels because, like, four or five people, you can all have a general conversation, everybody get the word in. But some of these panels that get to be 9, 10 people, then it just falls into 2 people talking the whole time. And then when you try to input your stuff in there, it's like, wait on, hold on. Half an hour later, you might be able to get 2 words in. And Peter says, to another world.
Yeah, this is Lost in Space's mirror universe.
Yeah, we're all caught up.
Thank you, Gorilla. I appreciate that. And yes, that does seem to happen. I know sometimes when we get too many people on the panel, it tends to get out of hand, but I'm going to try to rein that in and try to control it a little bit better. So
Well,
the assessment,
your stream's not the one I was talking about, but
no, but it's happened on my stream before, so I am guilty.
I think we all are at certain points difficult.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. First things first. Congratulations, Jill, on them reposting your Star Trek stream.
Oh yes, thank you. It got unblocked. And speaking of congratulations, didn't even get a chance to congratulate you on 300 subscribers because you're already pushing for 400 right now.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't know. I've gained at least 70 something subscribers since Saturday.
Yeah, it was just a week ago. You were still in the 200s.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess I'm doing something right.
Hey,
Jeez.
hey, wait, Jill, what? I must have missed something. What? Somebody your stream being blocked?
Oh yes, my live stream from Friday was blocked by Paramount, probably by a robot that's crawled through and saw a video that Paramount owns and said that's mine, and I'm gonna block this video. It's so egregiously ours. But I posted about it on Twitter, and a day later, it got unblocked.
Huh.
Now, when they blocked it, did they block the entire thing without even telling you what part of it?
They told me what part, but they did block the entire thing.
That is so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorely
But they
Yeah.
blocked.
Yeah, that's pretty sad when they block a Star Trek, stream on Star Trek Day.
Well, the
It's
funny
like-
thing is, I didn't think there was going to be a problem because it's from a VHS special feature from 36 years ago. William Shatner
Jeez.
just giving a recap of the first three movies.
Yeah, I actually
Or the
watched
last
that.
two movies.
I actually watched that this morning before I started work, and it just as I was waking up and having my tea, and that was pretty cool. I actually watched that bit, and that was kind of fun to see actually.
I thought so too. And I like having that in there. Even I might clip it for the claim if the claim stays.
Mm.
But I'm just happy it's unblocked. That's a good story of the day.
Oh, no,
Yeah, it
you're doing.
is.
So how long was the clip? Because I don't remember you playing that.
It was like 4 minutes long, but they claimed 7 minutes.
Oh,
Of course,
so
for good measure.
did they claim anything you were talking in?
No. Well, yeah. Somewhere before and after the 4 minutes.
Okay,
Maybe
so
just having it over the still of the video. I have no idea.
yeah, I can have you. I can help you with the claim if you want. Because I've gotten that with Warner
I
Brothers.
can't. I've clipped out claims on my own before, but the problem
No,
is
no, I fight them. I fight them.
Oh,
Then if
I
I
did.
receive
I
that,
sent in a dispute, so we'll see if I win or not.
Okay. 'Cause I've won every single one except the one with Warner Bros. But I did it at like 1:30 in the morning. I was just too tired. I worded it wrong. So, but otherwise with Warner Bros. I won every single one.
That's good news. I hope I win it too.
Yes, it is.
Is this good so far?
But I know
All
Paramount and CBS is a tough nut to crack, I guess, as they say.
Well, normally what they do is they just let it expire. They don't even bother responding to them.
So
They
I'm
just let
gonna
it
have to
expire.
wait for 26 days with the copyright claim on my video.
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
because
What
Well-
a shame.
Warner Brothers usually within 6 hours they'll release it, but with I noticed with Paramount CBS, everybody said this. They don't bother rejecting it. They just wait out the 30 days and then with 30 days.
And then what?
Then YouTube relinquishes the claim, but by that time all your views have been grabbed.
Well, because the stuff they did on my Gilligan's Island stuck.
Wait a minute, they don't keep your views while it's claimed, do they? That doesn't make sense.
No,
I'm
I
not-
think, but it depends. If it's a warning, they don't. But if it's an outright copyright claim, they pull the whole video like they did yours, Jill, and like they did my Creep Show video.
Well, I figure it doesn't matter too much because I'm not monetized. It'll be fine, and whenever it expires, I guess I'll get my video back. But I didn't know
Yeah.
that. They just let it expire.
Hopefully.
I should dispute more often in that case.
I know it.
Oh, yeah.
But I know when I did my Gilligan's Island when we did the episode where Skipper was imagining that everybody on the island was Japanese soldiers, that claim stuck. And it's been well over 30 days.
Huh.
And even then, I only showed a clip that was a few seconds long. And I think it was a still, but who knows with CBS? You know?
Yeah, I have the same problem with my iMud. I have a particular clip in there that I need to keep. It's very important. It's there, and I keep trying to edit it and edit it down, and I can't seem to lose the claim on it. Oh well.
Yeah, they have no
Too bad.
respect for the fans.
I absolutely need that, so I can't. All I can do is dispute it. I guess if I win this dispute, maybe I'll dispute that one.
It never hurts. If you can, I thought once you lose a dispute, you're not able to try a second time, are you?
Oh really?
Well, you're allowed to, but you can appeal that the rejection. But if you lose that appeal, you get it
Strike.
turns into an actual strike.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. If I lose I'm not gonna do that to the same video.
Yeah,
You're talking about different videos. I'm talking about a different video.
You definitely don't want to get a strike because you get 3 of those and you're gone.
Yeah,
not a good thing.
Yeah. All right. So should we get onto the actual episode?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me cover a quick assessment here. Alice through the Looking Glass meets Peter Pan meets My Friend Mr. Nobody. There is even a nod toward the Wizard of Oz as Maria Robinson faces into the wind and wails "Penny," just as Annie had done when calling out to Dorothy. Then another as Penny looks out from within the looking glass and calls to her mother and family, who cannot hear, as Dorothy had done to the image of her troubled aunt, which then transformed into the Wicked Witch's leering face. As with Mr. Nobody, the magic mirror serves up a whimsical tale about a little girl awkwardly growing older, which in that more innocent time stirred something in the hearts of millions of lost in space young viewers, and perhaps a few adults too. The elements for success are all here. Writing, directing, acting, imaginative set design, artistic use of camera and lights, and an effectively multi-layered audio track combined together to create a Neverland that elevates TV to the best of all babysitters. It entertains its audience while sparking their imagination, and as it happened with Penny, and perhaps helping them to grow up just a little. That's not bad for 50 minutes of TV. The first draft was written in December of 1965, and apparently it had, now bear with me here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 polishes. So this must have been a really rough script from the beginning, I guess. Most of the polishes were done by Tony Wilson, but as PPP mentioned, the original story was written by Jackson Gillis. This was Jackson Gillis' second Lost Space assignment following My Friend Mr. Nobody. With Nobody, Jackson had written a charming tale that prominently featured Angela Cartwright. Gillis had been so successful with his first assignment that he was asked to write another story around the character of Penny. Okay, there's a lot more, but I'm gonna skip that for later because I know we're running very late, going on an hour now. So we'll get with the slides. So this is where we have the cliffhanger from last week, where the Robinson family are beset by a cosmic storm, as they say. And everybody's panicking, and they don't know where Penny is. And, of course, Dr. Smith is only concerned about himself. And he was supposed to set up some storm arresters to help protect the Jupiter 2 from the storm, which he had not done because Judy had said she saw them under a pile of bushes. So Professor Robinson is upset, and he says that we're going to go out there and find Penny. So he tells Maureen and Judy to stay at the Jupiter 2, and he takes Dr. Smith, and they set out on a search for Penny.
Yeah. Leave it to them not to learn their lesson every week with Dr. Smith.
Every week, right?
Make sure he does what he says, what they told him to do.
Yeah, why they ever give Smith any kind of responsible job to do is just Well, I guess that's just got to be that way the series is, but it is kind of baffling after a while.
It allows for our conflict.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Penny happens to spot an elaborate ornate mirror, and as she does, as the storm kicks in, Dr. Smith also notices. To Penny, it's nothing but worthless alien trash left behind. But Dr. Smith notices that it's made out of salt and platinum, which automatically gets his greed juices flowing. He wants to try to keep the secret away from Professor Robinson, but Professor Robinson is able to locate them, and the storm blows over, and they head back to the Jupiter 2. And the mirror, I forgot to mention that while they're hiding under the mirror, it's struck by lightning, which apparently seems to open a gateway to another dimension.
Well, I
And
like
as
how
they go
I
ahead,
just want to mention I like how the mirror's eyes, the eyes start to glow on the mirror. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool effect, I thought.
yes, when the mirror is struck by lightning, the eyes begin to glow. And Dr. Smith, Professor Robinson, Penny, and um, Debbie head back to the Jupiter 2. And when we do, the camera zooms into the mirror, and we get a close up, and we see a big ominous eye looking up at us. And we get the title of our episode, The Magic Mirror. And as we explained last week, as a quick recap, this episode was filmed simultaneously with last week's episode, The War of the Robots. So that's why we will not get Will Robinson in this episode, because he featured so predominantly in the last one. The only one that we get both of, I guess you could say, would be Dr. Smith. He's prominent in both of these episodes naturally. This episode originally premiered Wednesday, February 9th, 1966. And as you can see, it's directed by Nathan Juran. And Dr. Smith, all he's concerned in is a mirror. And he's going through their jewelry tools, trying to figure out what he could use to take it apart.
Yeah.
And he's interrupted by Dawn. Go ahead.
He's so excited about platinum on that. I didn't think platinum was worth that much because we use it in everything.
Platinum is worth a lot, but it's not going to do you any good on an alien planet.
Yeah.
No, he thinks he can chop it up and somehow hide it all over
Right.
the ship so that no one will notice the weight distribution.
Right, all
And
that
only
weight,
he
yes.
will know.
Is platinum really heavy? I guess I never.
Yes.
Well, when you're an astronaut, you pay attention very closely to how much things weigh, and they know how much everything weighs on that ship, and so they're going to know there's something off if they do get a chance to leave the planet.
Yes, it's the same as airplane, commercial airliner airplane. They know if there's a stowaway by how much the plane weighs. So it's very important that they know that they not only the fuel allotment, but the balance, because they could throw the ship out of balance.
Exactly.
All right, should we catch up on chat real quick?
Sure, sounds good. Thank you, Gorilla.
Alrighty. Jay Alders is asking, did any of you like the episodes when Lost in Space went to color? I haven't seen. This is my first run through. Everything's brand new to me.
Right, that's right. This is Jill and Gorilla's first run through. They have not seen a color episode yet.
This is true.
I did. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I've only heard the new theme song because someone sent it to me, and I know that there's going to be another theme song.
Well, then I have to ask, what'd you think about it?
I prefer the first one, but I like the second one. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And Mike,
I just want to quickly interject that the color episodes, they do kind of change the feel of the show sometimes, especially in season 2. I find season 2 overall the weakest season, and but it's not really so much the color. Well, I guess the costumes, yeah. I mean, color is quite a change. But then in season 3, they kind of bounce back with more solid stories. More consistent. The stories get more consistent again in season 3, which I think is actually quite enjoyable. I really like season 3. So yeah, but the color definitely does make a difference for sure.
all right. Mike says, line from the episode. This is a dimension better than a world. Mikey says, love the colored episodes more, Jay. And I have no idea what BBS means. There. And welcome Herc there. Well, welcome Herc 130 in the garage.
Hello.
Can't chat. Well, I hope
Good to see you, Hurt.
I hope you you're making progress on your mock there.
I heard.
And Simulgolf says, I vaguely remember this episode. I know that the Netflix series took a lot from it as far as the radiation storm goes. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And Simulgolf says, I agree with PvP. It got frustrating how they sort of trusted Smith sometimes with big responsibilities. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and I'm going to finish it with, you're just asking for a boot up the arse.
Well, in this case, the only person who behaves realistically towards Smith is Don himself. When you look at the dialogue that he's here, where he's saying, "You're gonna do this job, or I'm gonna dig a hole for you."
That was a good line.
Yeah. And I was cheering that on. And you could tell my neighbors were hearing me because they looked up. They heard me. Come on, bury him! Bury him! Come on, bury him! Jay says, Mikey, I liked only the black and white episodes. So, well, everybody's prerogative there. I haven't seen the color one, so I can't judge it. And Scurvy says that. Oh. Senegal says Jonathan Harris was a beast in this show.
He does some really funny Pratt stuff with the polls here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that Dr. Smith?
Yeah, they must have really planned that scene out pretty intricately because the way Smith was waving those poles around, I was almost expecting somebody to get bonked on the head.
Yeah, it's kind of like slapstick. It reminds me of like the Three Stooges or Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, slapstick.
I think he was hoping to smack someone with one, but and Herc says, did someone say airplane? Yes, we know exactly how much and where the weight is on the plane. Center of gravity can't exceed center of lift or the depart controlled flight.
Yes.
All right, that is all the chats.
Thank you, Gorilla. So here we have Dr. Smith once again attempting with the storm arresters to place him where he was told by Don, but of course that doesn't last very long. And his attention immediately shifts towards the mirror where he sees Penny and Judy admiring it.
Yeah, he says it's my mirror and my platinum. He's claimed it.
Yes. Apparently it's already his property. And all Penny and Judy care about is the fact that they have a full-length mirror.
Well, I think Judy cares more than Penny.
Well, right, yeah, Penny has it. Go ahead.
Penny's not as vain, I don't think, a lot of the time as her sister is.
According to the book here, oh, by the way, everybody, I forgot to mention, I'm reading from Lost in Space, the authorized biography of a classic sci-fi series by Mark Cushman. And it says, also included in Gillis' script is a second look at the darkness inside Dr. Smith. In My Friend Mr. Nobody, Gillis showed Smith obsessively driven to accumulate material possessions. Here, Smith watches Penny and Judy as they prop up his platinum framed mirror. Gillis wrote a few jealous lines for Smith to utter to himself in a murderously urgent whisper, hissing, "Get away from that mirror. It's my mirror, my platinum. Go play somewhere else, you nasty little girls." Harris delivered these lines beautifully. The look on his face is most certainly threatening, just as he had played the part Gillis wrote for him in My Friend Mr. Nobody, when diamond fever strikes. With his first two scripts for Lost in Space, Gillis proved that he understood Smith perhaps better than any other Lost in Space writer. He knew that the character could feel fondness for the Robinsons' children, but when under the spell of his craving for riches, he'd lose all reason and become potentially dangerous. If other writers, including Tony Wilson, had approached Smith in this manner, the character would have easily glided between serious villain and comedic villain without any loss of believability or continuity.
I do tend to like the episodes where Smith is written well. He is here.
Right, with a little less comedic flair, I guess. So
And
Judy,
it's not completely gone. There's plenty.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't borderline on
Not
mockery, I
absurd, so I
guess.
like it even
Yeah,
better.
absurd. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Pop, Captain Finney is asking about the panel. Did we? I don't know if we mentioned that or not.
Oh yeah. Hold on, Captain. Sorry, I was running late. Pardon me. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna send a link to Captain Infinity.
All right.
Okay. And so here, Judy is telling Penny that she's acting like a boy, like a tomboy, I guess. And who doesn't? That's fun.
Is that an insult or
I
a compliment?
it's a compliment to me because I did too.
I know a lot of. I know. I hung out with a tomboy there at school. There, she's one of my best friends.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the boys have the better toys, and it's more fun to climb a tree than whatever the girls were doing, and it just was natural for me, I guess.
I was just never into sports and all that, and that's all the boys in my class seemed like they were into was sports.
All right, Captain. The link is sent your way on Twitter. But I'm not even sure if you can use the term tomboy anymore. That's probably a derogatory term these days. I don't know.
Really know.
I haven't heard
Fun to
it
me.
used in. Yeah, well, normally we would, but
Well, I'm
things have
kind of
changed
still
so
that
much.
way. I make better friends with men than women usually, but there are exceptions.
Well, I'll tell them the same thing I said on my cringe talk there. Go ahead, cancel me. I don't give a crap. When I'm tired of this. So you can't say this, can't say this. Go ahead and cancel me.
So here's where we get a scene where Judy is wanting to pretty much change her hair to impress Dawn, and Penny hasn't really reached full maturity yet. So Penny thinks that it's silly, and
And
she
I haven't
mentions
reached full maturity yet either.
we never do we?
No.
You're more mature than I am, there, Jill.
Yeah, that's true. Just by a bit.
If you don't think so, just listen to half the crap I say at work.
This is kind of an echo back to Nobody in the sense that Penny is like, people sometimes are pressuring her to maybe change, some aspect of her personality. And she's just like, why can't I just be myself? Like, just be what I am, right? So she's kind of resistant to her sister's, recommendation there.
Well, she just wants to be a kid at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, Dr. Smith is eyeing the mirror. That's all he cares about. And we got a glimpse of our guest star for this week, Michael J. Pollard.
He's such in love with this mirror.
Yes, or the platinum in the mirror.
Yeah. The mirror is very cool, by the way. I really like the design of the mirror. It feels very otherworldly and strange, at least to my eyes, anyway.
And now we have Debbie, who seems to be making cameos every now and then when the plot needs it. And I noticed in this episode, Professor Robinson refers to Debbie as he, so I guess it's a he with a girl's name.
No, they misgendered her. She is definitely a she.
That's what I thought.
It was a
Yeah,
mistake.
I think they referred to Debbie as a she in previous episodes, if I remember. So
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I think it goes back and forth, but I know he definitely calls her a he in this episode.
But what I found out is that they Hungry Boy wasn't making it up when he was calling Debbie Bloop, because Dr. Smith does that in this episode.
Yes. Well, they call her Bloop when they first find her, don't they?
I think this is the first time they actually use that as a name.
Oh, okay.
Well, they referred to her as a Bloop, but they named her Debbie. So, but I did hear the term Bloop in previous episodes. So,
And she makes that sound, Bloop.
She makes that sound, but they've never called her that. I'm pretty sure.
Captain, let me check
Could be
again.
wrong.
What did it not send? Check again, Captain. I just sent it. I hit sent again. Sorry about that.
I'll give it a try too. Why not?
So, of course, Dr. Smith is concerned mostly about the mirror. Oh, but like I said, we get Michael J. Pollard in here, which I'm sure a lot of you Star Trek fans remember him from the episode Miri. And he was also
Yes,
in one of my
course.
he was also in one of my favorite movies, Bonnie and Clyde, where he played C.W. Moss, their driver, when they were robbing banks. I think a lot of his shtick and what got him a lot of his jobs back in the 60s was because obviously he's older than what he appears. But he has a childlike face, kind of a cherub face, I think is what got him to work. Because obviously in here, like in this episode, he's in at least his 20s. I haven't looked up his exact age, but he's older than obviously than Penny. But it seemed to work for the character.
In his mid-20s or so.
Yes. And he's still around, and what's interesting is he looks the same except with gray hair.
Huh.
So he's
Wow.
aged well. There he is. We call it a blithering bloop. Like Dr. Smith is not very fond of Debbie, apparently. And of course, Dr. Smith does nothing but complain about himself, as usual. Hail, Captain. Good to see you there.
Hello there.
Hi.
Whoa.
Hey, Captain.
The bloop
Hello?
pushes Debbie into the mirror universe.
Yes, and Dr. Smith sees it and thinks that he's going crazy or that he has cosmic fever. But
Yeah,
it basically,
literally a mirror universe in this episode.
yes. And here's, as we were mentioning earlier, kind of the remnants of similar to Wizard of Oz and Alice Through the Looking Glass, where Penny can see Dr. Smith on the other side of the mirror, but it's one way. He cannot see her.
Yeah. Now, with Dr. Smith crying, do you think he was crying that something happened to Penny? Or that he's crying that, oh crap, something happened to Penny, they're going to blame me for it?
I think he was crying because he thinks he's sick. Because he keeps checking his face and his eyes and everything. I think he's worried more about himself than anything else. But that could be my interpretation.
Yeah.
No, you're correct. That's exactly it. He's worried about his state of mind.
Yeah, so basically he thinks seeing Penny disappear into a mirror is like he thinks he's hallucinating or something, I'm guessing.
Yes. Yes, he thinks he has some kind of illness that causes... They mention what it is. And so every mirror can be found in this mirror universe, acting as a window to look through to whatever mirror, wherever the other end of the mirror is. And so there's... But this special mirror we get is the only door we have, so... I don't know how many doors there are out there.
Well, he does explain to her that if they walk around long enough, they can look. Well, he doesn't say the universe, but he says all mirrors everywhere. And she asks him, even Earth? And he says yes. But then she's not really interested in that. She's already homesick and she misses her family right here. And she sees all them having a good time and preparing lunch, which makes her miss them all the more. And of course, he's very lonely. Obviously, he's automatically latched onto her, and he does not want her to leave. And he's trying to keep her distracted from her family.
Obviously, he's lonely. We don't know too
Yes.
much about his background exactly.
Right. That's why I was. It's so. I wish I was able to watch the whole episode, but this is almost like a complete rewrite of my friend Mr. Nobody. Because it was basically the same thing. It was a lonely entity that was in a mirror universe or underground. It was in an alternate dimension or whatever you want to call it. Lonely and needed a friend, and it latched on to Penny. So it seems to be very similar, especially considering it's in the same season.
That's true, but for me, there is a distinction. Is in Nobody, the entity was more kind-hearted and actually cared about Penny, as an individual. And it's was protective of her, if you remember, like the ending of that episode.
Well, yeah, it was more innocent. It was learning from her.
Yeah, whereas this, Michael J. Pollard's character in Mir, it's more like he's kind of just, I mean, it's obviously he's lonely, but he's kind of, his loneliness is kind of causing him to be self-serving, and he's not really thinking of Penny's best interest, because Penny obviously wants to go back to her family and get out of the Mir, but he's not really worried about that, because he's just more interested in having, company, basically.
Yeah,
So,
he just wants a playmate for however long he lasts in that mirror universe.
Yeah.
yep.
Hey, Jill. You
Yes.
read the chat?
Is it? Yeah, Jill. That's Matt G. Hey, Matt
President
G.
of the Antiderivative Jill fan club.
He
Welcome.
says,
Matt. Good to see
hello,
you.
low.
Hi, Matt G.
All right, and welcome Matt G. And welcome Dan de la Torre.
Hello, Dan. Good to see you. Welcome. Glad you
Dan
could join
de la
us.
Torre.
You didn't roll your R's.
I don't. I said it fine enough.
Oh man, I can tell you what my boss used to tell me whenever I tried to speak Spanish, but this is YouTube. But he says the acting back these days was so superior than today. I deeply love the series as a child. Cool.
Oh, you came to the right place, and I agree with you, Dan. It is. It's far superior. And so is the writing.
Yeah. Imagine he says, yes, hello.
When you don't
Yeah,
roll your R's, replacing it with the D is okay. Hello to Cody Guy.
Yeah,
Hello, Cody Guy. Good to see you.
Hi, Cody Guy.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy it there.
Yeah, Dan. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Hi, Dan.
And Mikey says, I just finished watching this episode. Another great performance by Michael J. Pollard. Died in 2019.
Oh, he's dead. Okay.
And his appearance later on Miri, Jill knows that too. This episode was also good.
I should
No, I blocked that episode. I don't care how good his actor was in that episode, Miri. I blocked that episode out of my mind.
Well, that episode's not that bad. It's a B episode, and it's just fine.
Right. Why'd you block it out of your mind, Gorilla?
It was a good McCoy.
That episode was bad. I just didn't enjoy it. It's like it's on the skip list for me.
It was a B episode for me as well, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
bonk on the head.
Well, and I do
Bonk on
want
the
to.
head.
I do want to shout out Antiderivative Jill covers Star Trek, the original series, every Tuesday. Please check it out. She does a fantastic job and it's very entertaining. We have a lot of insightful background information that I think a lot of streams don't usually cover. So if you're a fan of Star Trek, the original series, definitely check out Jill's channel. Well, not only that, though, she also has other material based around Star Trek.
Yes, so science fiction in general. Lots of that. Thank you very much, Pop Culture.
Oh, my pleasure. And just like this channel, all opinions are welcome. Even if you don't like it, you're free to say so. We don't want an echo chamber. We enjoy opinions from all over and from different aspects.
Yeah, I will allow opinions that are different from my own on my channel too.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's not just a fever; it's a cosmic fever.
Cosmic fever, and they even have a cosmic indicator to prove it.
Is that a cosmic thermometer?
Well,
yes,
he does say exactly. Go ahead, Jill.
Yes, and the cosmic fever is from all of that cosmic radiation from the cosmic storm.
Yes. Fortunately, that radiation passed. I guess it doesn't linger around for thousands of years like the radiation here on Earth. And here's where Dr. Smith realizes Dr. Smith was thinking that he was ill because he thought he was imagining things when he saw Penny fall into the mirror. But Maureen has been giving him or taking his temperature with a good old-fashioned thermometer. Anybody remember those? The ones that were actually made out of glass and mercury. And she tells him that he's fine and he doesn't have a temperature at all. So with that, he's surprised. And, of course, now that pretty much rejuvenates him. Now he's on a second wind, so he's going to go down and hunt that mirror once again. And while he's at it, he tells them that he's going to bring Penny back for lunch. And he blames it on the bloop for some reason, his hallucinations.
Well, you know why? Is because the robot's not around. He has to have somebody to pick on.
That's correct. Right. So if you're wondering why the robot's not around, like we mentioned, the robot was so busy with War of the Robots, which was filmed simultaneously because they were running out of time and budget. So I do miss not seeing the robot in this episode.
I do too.
Another difference too, if you'll notice that this episode is filmed in a set in it. Well, they're all filmed on a set interior, but this one takes place mostly in this alternate universe, while War of the Robots took place outdoors, even though it was on a set. But that's the difference. So
And
apparently, two different sound stages.
This is the part where we find out that he doesn't age in this universe.
I need to start over.
I'll be right back.
Sure, no problem. That reminds me, guys. Like I said, I wasn't able to watch this whole episode again because I haven't seen it in several years. But when we figure out here that he's not able to age, does Penny suggest to him, "Hey, why don't you come with me and we'll leave this place"?
I think she does. Yeah, at certain points,
At
urge
the
him
end.
to. Yeah, she does urge him to come with her and leave the mirror. You know, because she says, "Well, you know, you'll be more happy if you're, you know, out of, you're not alone forever," kind of thing. But he doesn't. He just doesn't listen.
Well, because obviously they're not going to explain next week why he's there, right? So it's got to
Yeah,
they've
well,
got to
that too.
reset. Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Well,
must say. Oh, go ahead, Gorilla.
Everything gets explained at the end there.
I really,
Well,
I really like the set design on the mirror universe. Like, it's kind of a weird, creepy sort of set. I found, it's quite interesting.
I think it helps too the black and white cinematography.
Mm,
It's another thing too that when it turns to color, we lose a lot of the mystery and the shadows. At least in my
that's
opinion.
true. That's true. It does become almost especially season 2. I find the colors quite garish a lot of the time, and it almost is cartoonish, if that makes any sense.
Well, they were really saturated because they were trying to sell color televisions back in 65, 66, 67.
That's right. Yeah, 66 I think was when color came in big time on most
Yep.
shows. Yeah.
And it was interesting as I was reading from the chapter here from the book, in an interview with Jonathan Harris, he said, "Well, Lost in Space will be a lot longer than Batman." So he was actually comparing because he knew, and they all knew the influence that the Batman series had on this show.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure they were necessarily happy with that, but they had to do what they were told, what the network told them, and that is copy Batman.
Yeah, I think a lot of shows suffered from the Batman effect, actually, because season 2 definitely, for me, is the most inconsistent season, and there are some pretty silly episodes, I must say. So, yeah, definitely Batman.
And it was less than a year later is when they shot the episode Miri. So obviously this was shot a little under a year before Miri.
So, are they sillier than the silly episodes we've already had?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, some of them are extremely silly, Jill.
Some. It varies.
It varies. There's some good
Hey.
ones, too. But it's more inconsistent season 2.
We got a lot of chats just come in here just now.
Thank you, Gorilla.
Mikey says, "Boink boink, indeed, Miss Jill," and Matt says, "Awesome,
Bonk bonk.
bonk bonk, bonk bonk." Dan
Yeah,
says,
bonk, bonk.
A huge missed opportunity between the Lost in Space and Star Trek was there could have been a crossover towards the end of both series. This could have led to a movie with Roddenberry and Allen.
That would have been nice. Have where the Enterprise rescues them.
Wow.
That would have been funny.
That'd be fun.
And Mikey says, "Yes, Dan and Pollard could be the universal antagonists."
Yes, I agree.
Mikey, thank you. Never thought of that. Great word by Smith. Here's suit. Where the hell?
Yes, that was a good. It is referencing to apes, I think.
Oh, then I should know it. And welcome, Pickles. Welcome. He says, "Oh my God,
LBG.
we're streaming." Well, we stream almost every Monday.
Try to. Barely made it. I was having hard drive trouble.
Oh,
LBG, but
okay.
yeah, glad to see you.
So hirsute means covered with hair.
Oh,
No,
okay,
so
gotcha.
Then Mikey says, #Dr. Smith syndrome. non-worker disease. So he has a touch of workinitis. And Herc says different opinions. I don't like fish and I have tried it. Blah. Well, then you're gonna really hate my freezer. And Mikey says not Mikey. LDG here says my sanity is returning. And welcome, Jake Steele. I don't think I've seen you.
Hello, Jake. Welcome, Jake. Good to
welcome.
see you. Glad you could join us.
I hope
Hi,
you
Jake.
enjoy our content here.
That's excellent. We're seeing some new names tonight. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he says I haven't got a reflection, so he can't get out. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's the reveal at the end. Yes.
Right, yes.
And welcome, Nemesis of Eden. Oh, sorry.
Well, he hasn't got a reflection. Does that suggest that somehow he's not real, as in the sense of what we think is a real?
Well, I was
person?
suspecting that he is in the mirror, like he's from the mirror universe.
From the mirror universe.
He's not. He's not external to it. He just somehow knows about the external universe through his observations of it.
Right. So while he resembles a human being, he isn't actually one.
And good to see you, Nemesis. Glad you could join us.
He says hello to Pop, the panel, and chat. Hope you're all doing well. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to Pop's channel if you haven't already.
Thank you.
Hi, Nemesis.
And as you can see, everybody, Smith made his way into the alternate dimension, or the mirror universe, I guess you could say.
All right, that
he goes a little bonkers here. Well, but it's because he thinks he's sick, so he's playing into his own
delusion,
perception. Yeah, his own delusion of his illness.
So he's what do you call it when people think they have that disease? He's
hypochondriac.
He's a hypochondriac, yeah. Which he was in earlier episodes sometimes. So
yeah, it fits within character. For real.
So they went back to that theme finally after so many episodes, right? So
yes, according to the book here, one delightful scene gives clear indication that Dr. Smith is on the verge of losing his marbles. After he falls through the mirror into the mirror land, he encounters Penny as she is fleeing the quote hairy monster. The scene continues. Smith has caught hold of her. Now, my dear, I'm not angry anymore. Penny says, it's coming. And Smith, oblivious to her words, says, you see, I understand all this now. Penny's struggling to push him. What are you talking about? Let go of me. Run. Smith proudly stands past. No, I will not run from my own nightmares. And Penny, flabbergasted, what? And the boy, disgusted, yells, hey, where'd he come from? Upset and angry at the sight of Dr. Smith. Did you let him in here? Penny, no. Smith, of course not, my boy. I'm the one that let you in. Don't you understand? And the boy is seizing Penny's hand. He's goofy. Come on. He'll spoil everything.
I like that line. He's goofy. That was pretty good.
All this is Dr. Smith is thinking it's all in his imagination, and he's allowing all this to happen.
Maybe he should have started yelling "grup, grup, grup, grup" at him. Was this before or after Star Trek?
Before.
Okay.
Right, that's what I was mentioning earlier. This is about a year before. In fact, when you watch the Star Trek promos, what's interesting is they loosely refer to this. I was just watching some earlier, and it was promos for 1966, and when ABC advertised Star Trek, they said the first adult space drama. So I think that was their way of referring to Lost in Space as being more family oriented.
Oh.
Well, and plus Lost in Space, as we've mentioned in previous streams, was also airing during the family hour, which was from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. And Star Trek premiered after 9 p.m. on Thursdays. Irwin Allen read the second draft of this script from Jackson Gillis, then sent his notes to Tony Wilson on January 17, 1966, saying, page 8, scene 23 and 24. Note on previous week's teaser ending. Teaser ending should be more frightening. We should see some visual effects of a monster seemingly reaching out of the mirror in anger as though to catch the lightning. The claws of the hairy monster that we see later in the script might be used here. Perhaps it could actually catch the lightning and draw it into the mirror. This, accompanied with the screams of Penny from behind the mirror, would be suitably frightening. Bringing this idea to the screen would only be frighteningly expensive. It would also likely scare the wits out of CBS censors. Wilson felt it would be exciting and scary enough to have lightning strike the mirror and cause the demonic-looking face in the frame to snort smoke and have its eyes light up. Ellen's notes continued. Scene 53, we should start with a shot of Smith on his stomach, peering down on the girls. Then we should see the Bloop crawl on his back and start jumping up and down. Smith would then push him off and start throwing... Now I'm going to repeat this. Smith would then push him off and start throwing pebbles at the Bloop as he says. His first speech in trying to avoid being hit by the pebbles would cause the cluster of rocks to get the attention of the girls. So that's the script as originally written, but it was not shot. And besides, it says here, Jonathan Harris was not going to tolerate Debbie the Chimp giving him a back-walking massage treatment. Wilson knew this and ignored the note.
Yeah, it makes sense. It sounds like the polish actually improved this script quite a bit.
Yeah, sometimes Urban Bell's notes don't always match up perfectly. And as we know, and if you guys are new here to the stream, anybody, especially I know some of you new people here, have seen Lost in Space before, so you know what we're talking about, where Dr. Smith is always referred to his delicate back.
Yep.
In real life, he did have a delicate back, and he was wearing a back brace while filming the series. And there were some times where you could see the outline of his brace on the back of his shirt. So that was actually an idea by the actor, Jonathan Harris, to bring that into the character about the delicate back and the pain. So I know some of you guys may have heard me mention that before, but that's for all the people that are new here tonight. And of course, Dr. Smith is busy with his own delusion, and the boy is trying to distract her from Dr. Smith. And of course, Penny is listening to him, but she's not completely convinced. And he just wants her to stay there, but of course, she's homesick and she wants to go home. And of course, Dr. Smith is assaulted by the hairy monster.
And she shoots a gun.
And she shoots a gun. We actually get a girl doing something brave here.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, I thought. That was pretty awesome.
Right. And for those of you listening, to anybody new, the reason why we bring that up is because in the previous episodes, the censors were very, very, very sensitive about showing women in danger and showing, well, the women in danger, the kids in danger, and showing women fire weapons. So apparently that was a no-no during family time back in the 60s. And we referred to that also with Star Trek. It's very rare you see a woman fire a weapon in Star Trek.
Get in trouble and die. It just happens one time.
Right. Here's where she's trying to convince him and say, why don't you join me? My family would love you. But of course, he'll have none of that. I don't believe you. They wouldn't make you do jobs. He wants to stay a kid forever. And obviously, because the kids don't have to do, even though we all know kids have chores, but we all understand the innocence of wanting to remain a child, knowing that when you grow older, that you're going to have a lot more responsibilities. And she explains to him that that's pretty much part of life. You have to grow up at one point.
Yeah.
And that's
sorry.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, this is where she realizes the selfishness in the boy, that all he's concerned about is himself and wanting to keep her with him.
Yep, exactly. It's basically Jackson Gillis drawing on the whole Peter Pan story, right? Basically.
Yep.
Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass.
Yeah, it's really cool, actually. I like Jackson Gillis's stories. I think they're a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, a little coming of age story for Penny.
Yeah, exactly.
She does mature in this episode, right? Because it starts off when she's mentioning cutting her hair and being like Will. The episode starts out with her wanting to remain a child. But then she realizes through the boy that she cannot remain a child forever and that she needs to grow up and mature. And here's where she says, I don't want to stay young forever. Everybody does. I want to watch them through the mirrors, he says. He's satisfied completely with just watching people through mirrors and apparently not living much of a life at all.
Well, he sees people who are jealous of what he has, which is eternal youth.
Yes, that's true. Thank you. And notice she refers to the gun as a cannon. So all you have to do is shoot into your reflection and then you can return. And here's where he explains this is the reason why he's not able to leave. And Penny returns back to, I guess, the regular world, I guess we could call it. The regular dimension.
Yes. Normal dimension.
Well,
Normal
back to the planet. Yeah.
Welcome, Daniel's Hot Topics.
Hello, Daniel. Good to see you, Daniel. Hope you're doing well, sir.
Well, actually, this would be a good chance to catch up on the chat. He says, "Thank you, Stream and Pop, for including my channel. Not a problem, Mikey."
Yeah, glad to do it.
Jake Seal says, "Hey everyone, nice to be here. Thank you."
Glad to have you here, Jake, and you're always welcome.
Yep. Mikey says, Dr. Smith, the ultimate hypochondriac.
Yes, he is.
And then Mikey said, this is episode 22. Have Pollard and then the young Kurt Russell.
Well, no, they're not in the same episode, but we will get Kurt Russell in a future episode.
Yeah. And Daniel said, anyway, in the news, Daniel Radcliffe may have been cast as the new Wolverine for MCU. Expecto Patronum, Bob.
Hey.
I wouldn't believe that. That sounds like like fan casting, I guess is what the term is.
Yeah.
I've heard somebody say that. I don't know who said it, but this is the second time I've heard that.
Well, he sure is awfully tiny to be
Well,
playing
why
that
not?
kind of
They
role.
had Cedric Diggory play Batman. So.
Yeah.
Who?
And Mikey.
Oh, the Twilight guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
I don't like Twilight, so I call him Cedric Diggory.
Cedric Diggory was Hufflepuff in Harry Potter. He's the one in the fourth movie there that died at the end.
The guy that was in Twilight was also in Harry Potter?
He was. Yes, much better role.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And apparently Mikey says, wow, Daniel, fascinating news. All right, we're all caught up.
Right.
Thank you, Gorilla.
And here, I like this because we're back to Dr. Smith knowing something about electronics. They haven't forgotten.
Suddenly remembers, yes.
So he makes an alarm system.
Yes, so we're getting our tag, as they call it, or teaser for next week's episode. And I was hoping here, what I usually do, guys, as you understand, is I usually show the teaser for next week's episode. But with my hard drive acting up, I may not be able to. Unfortunately, I'm trying to access my hard drive, and it's giving me issues.
Either that, or you might be able to find a YouTube of the.
Well, the way I get my teasers is they're all in one video, and I have to usually cut them up. So I don't know if I can find that one specifically by itself or not.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm looking now as we talk. Hopefully, it won't lock in my computer. What a pain see, that's the pain in the neck with these. I need to get an SSD, I guess. I need to get a solid state drive. No moving parts.
So they're trying.
This is where I'm going to need your guys' help explaining what's going on because I was not able to see the preview.
So this is well, yeah, you did a really great job on the episode, but this teaser here is just about Smith. He created an alarm system to catch a criminal, because they're losing vegetables, and they also lost a special knife that so Smith thinks that it was a criminal who a thief.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, well, no. Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say it's not a very good alarm system. It's not very loud. It doesn't get your attention very well.
No, it isn't a very good alarm system. I agree with that. But it was that the vegetables were lost, and so Don thinks it is just an animal. But because of the knife being lost, Smith makes a joke about the animal cutting it up and making stew out of the vegetables because he's also stolen the knife. But Don's like, I could have lost the knife. I could have misplaced it. But the alarm does go off, and there's something in the campsite. Something made the alarm go off. Something, and it's a kid.
Yes, and that's where we were mentioning earlier. We get a very young Kurt Russell.
Man, did Kurt Russell do everything in the '60s except for Star Trek?
He was discovered by Walt Disney. So yes, that's where he was first discovered, and he did a lot of work for Disney, as we all any old people like me remember. He started out as a child actor, and then he made some Disney movies as a teenager before he branched out into full-fledged movies. And I think his first movie away from Disney was Used Cars, if I remember correctly. And it's an excellent, fantastic movie. I highly recommend it to everybody. It's a comedy, and it's a blast to watch it.
Yeah, I remember him in a Disney film called The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, if anybody remembers that one.
Yes, he made a few of them. The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, The Strongest Man in the World, among others.
Yeah, I remember seeing that as a kid years ago. I don't remember it much, though.
Well, they are available. I have them on my server, which means they're probably available online, I imagine.
I imagine, yeah.
Is the computer trying to run a race or play tennis?
I honestly can't remember, Jill. It's been it's been
What,
decades.
what happens is, okay, like the strongest man in the world, okay, he's a college student, and he accidentally, it's always accident, he invents a serum that makes him the strongest man in the world, where he can lift like heavy objects and things like that. And then in the movie The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, there's another accident in the lab which makes him the smartest man in the world. So that's why it's called The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. I haven't seen it in many years, but that's pretty much a summary of it.
It sounds like Lawnmower Man or something.
Similar. But obviously, since it was the 60s, early 70s, they didn't have much of an understanding of computers. So they called him a computer because he was smart.
Right. Makes sense.
Well, it's just like McCoy calls Spock a computer. Same kind of thing, right?
Your mother's an encyclopedia.
How are we doing on the chat, Gorilla?
Just a couple here we could read. Mikey says Robert Patterson played the new Batman. We saw the movie The Batman. It seems like it's 3 hours too long for me. I haven't watched it. Then
Me neither.
Mikey says Used Cars 1981. Keenan Wayne
When?
Keenan
Wynn was funny in Russell's Disney films. And night Jay. Jay, I hope you have a good night.
Night, Jay.
Have a good night, Jay.
Good night, Jay.
Scurvy here says Kurt Russell makes the link from Lost in Space to Stargate. All right.
Oh yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, we're all caught up.
I gotta say, we went through this episode pretty quickly today, consider how late we got started. Like, we've just been talking about it for just a little bit over an hour, actually. That's not bad.
Yeah,
It's a
bear
pretty
with me,
simple
guys.
premise and
I'm
a
getting a
simple-
clip. I'm putting together the clip now for next week. Give me just a minute.
Yeah, I need to go for a moment too. My kitty cat wants some food.
All right. Yeah, that was a pretty fast episode.
Yeah, we usually go usually a couple hours talking about one of these, but
Yeah.
we flew through this one tonight, which is okay. I don't mind ending a little bit earlier for a change.
Huh.
Yeah, this is a good episode though. I always enjoy Jackson Gillis's writing. His stories are usually quite interesting. And I think we still got 3 more episodes he wrote about Penny, so the Penny stories continue.
What, do you have a crush on her or something?
I don't know. I've never figured it out. Like, I've never read anything about why he seemed to fixate on this one particular character, but I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. Or else maybe he just thought, Angela Cartwright was an excellent actress. And I do think when she gets one of these episodes where she's the center, the star of the episode, she really is good. Like, she was really good in this one again. She really could act. Really, really good actress. But she was shoved into the background, unfortunately, most episodes. So
Let's see. Let's catch up on chat here real quick.
Thank you, Gorilla. I'm almost done getting the clip together. My hard drive hopefully will hold out long enough to do this.
Yeah. Dan is saying the old thing is relevant here. They don't make them like they used to. Yep. And Daniel says Transformers robots in disguise. What was that, Pop?
No, I was agreeing. Yes, I completely agree. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah. And Scurvy says Pop's now streamlining rules seem to have worked. And Mikey says I gave this episode a solid B.
Oh, very cool.
Dan says I have a number.
Yes, that reminds me, everybody, there's a poll in the chat. Hopefully it's still there. Please feel free to vote on what your opinion is of this episode or how we covered it. Either way.
Yeah.
And then I'll cover that after we give our reviews. I'll let everybody know what everybody voted for in the chat.
Yeah, Dan says I have a number of questions for this panel. Well, if you want to put a couple of them in there, if you want to start putting some in there, you can. Mikey
Absolutely.
says, agreed, Lemon. And Lemon, or Scurvy here says, now it can make many unrelated time-wasting comments.
Exactly. That's what we're here for.
Something doesn't seem right tonight. What was it? Oh, I know. Scurvy hasn't made an eggnog joke yet. That's what's been off about
no
the
eggnog
stream.
jokes.
oh
That's okay.
wow, maybe he's run out of material finally.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick says, yeah, I thought it was decent enough. I gave it a B+. Cool.
Very cool.
All
Yeah,
right,
I voted before I came on the stream, so but I won't give my rating yet.
should we do 5? Oh,
Sorry, what was that, Gorilla?
I was gonna ask it. Should we start doing final ratings? And what happened to Captain?
Captain, you're welcome back. He might have lost his internet connection. That happens.
He actually dropped out a long time ago, guys. Like quite a long time ago.
I was watching the chat, not the panel.
Yeah,
well, I noticed.
I wasn't able to see the chat either because I had Windows covering it. Sorry about that, Captain.
Yeah, I noticed probably a good 30, 40 minutes ago, he disappeared, and we were back down to the four of us. So yeah, probably internet. I'm guessing.
I've been watching keeping an eye on the chat and stuff.
I appreciate that, Gorilla. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and, like I said, everybody, as a reminder, there's a poll in the chat. Feel free to give us your review on what you think of this episode. In the meantime, we're going to give our reviews on the panel, and then I'll share the results from the poll in the chat, if I can word this correctly.
Jill's not back yet, but yeah.
That's okay. PPP, tell us what you think about this episode, your grade, and whatever else you'd like to share with us.
Well, I always love the Jackson Gillis episodes featuring Penny because I think Angela Cartwright usually does a great job. She's really a solid actress. And once again, she gave a very solid performance in this one, I thought. She's always really good at emotional, emoting, emotional scenes. And she seemed to have a talent for that in particular. And so Gillis seems to always write to her gifts, so to speak, to her strengths as an actress. And his stories are always interesting because they're very creative, I think. Good dialogue. Smith, once again, is, sort of gone back to his more evil, selfish old self. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And as far as ratings go, I do like the Penny episodes a lot. So I'll give it an A- this one. It doesn't get an A+ like Nobody because I think Nobody is a somewhat better episode, but I still had to put it in the A category. So A- for me.
Very cool. All right, thank you, PvP. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And how about you, Gorilla? What say you? What would you rate this, and what would you like to share with us?
Well, it's kind of fun there. Like I got my neighbors disturbed when I was screaming, bury him there. I like the. So too bad this was a family hour. I so would love to see Don fulfill his threats to Dr. Smith. But that's interesting. But I know family hour, family hour. But it's kind of an interesting concept there with them having the mirror getting struck by lightning and you being able to go to another um, dimension there and all that, and to an area where you don't like. It's not even really a reality. You're just kind of like in limbo, which I think a lot of shows have spun off from that concept. So that's elevating the grade there. And it would have been interesting to see if they could have just taken a mirror and then exited out of a mirror on Earth if Dr. Smith didn't smash it at the end.
Right. So there
That
goes
could
their only chance.
That could have been an interesting concept and all that. But the one thing that really got me as I was thinking about this whole episode as I was watching, he's like, I remember when I was a kid at my grandparents and that I used to dream there that like at the top of the stairs there's always like a hidden entrance to like an attic. Like obviously there was no attic in this house. We've seen the setup of that, but it'd be cool. Like there's like the secret room and all that stuff. This is right after I started learning about Anne Frank and all that stuff. So I was always imagining like there's some secret entrance behind this painting that was right above a dresser that's right at the top of the stairs and all that. This episode kind of reminded me of that. It's like just kind of like a secret entrance and all that. I'm gonna give this one a B plus. B plus.
Very cool.
That's spots that dragged a little bit. You guys kept reminding me of Miri, so.
And tell us about your channel, Gorilla.
Well, right now I'm hosting 3 watch parties a week there. We got Wednesday we were watching Justified with Timmy Oliphant. On Saturday is Babylon 5. And then on Sunday we are watching for Robin Williams month we are on Man of the Year. Then I do host a Walton's review on Fridays there. That's always a lot of fun there. I'll get the episode here before we go. Which one we're on? We're on the one right after Chicken Thief.
Cool.
But then our next cringe talk, I do not know when it'll be, but that'll be Frankenhooker, which ought to be a lot better than this last one. That last one was just it punched me about as much as it was punching Mikey. Which
I think you'll like Frankenhooker. It's a good, fun movie.
yeah, it sounds like there'll be titties in it, so that'll make me happy. But yeah. That Velma punched me about as much as it punched Mikey there for calling me a fat ape.
Yeah, that was very painful. You picked a real cringy thing with Velma there, girl.
Well,
Man.
I think I found something just as bad for if I need. It's on the back burners there, but then I was thinking of starting a new segment every once in a while there of like your really cheaply made movies. I'm talking. There wasn't even a barrel to scrape from.
Like,
Okay.
I got one. I'll recommend one of these days for you that was real cheap.
Peters?
No, it's the Creeping Terror.
Yeah, how much was the budget on that?
I think it was probably like 100 and something thousand or something.
Oh.
Let's put it this way: it was so cheap that the director lost the soundtrack to the film. So it was like a silent movie where they had to bring a guy in to narrate the storyline.
I might consider it there, but
It's
I know Feeders 1 and 2 were on the list because their budgets were 500 and 10,000, and then there's another one I can't remember. It's like a really bad cyborg movie that was made for like $1,000.
Wow,
it'll be really fun to sit there and watch it make. But
Creeping Terror is so cheap that the space alien that lands and is eating people is actually a guy under a carpet crawling on the ground.
You'll have to DM that one to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, you'll have to DM it.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Gorilla.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of final notes about this episode pertaining to it, specifically Jonathan Harris as Dr. Smith. This was the last time Jonathan Harris was seen in the yellow top that he'd been wearing for the last 3 episodes. He said, I had certain views about what I wanted to wear. I don't have the best figure in the world, God knows, and I knew I wanted it dark. Reverting back to dark colors for Smith wasn't only Harris's decision, at least according to Paul Zepnovich, the costume designer. The wardrobe man later said that he too felt that the lighter colors in his costume diffused Smith's character. He stressed, "Oh, I'm a real believer in color and how it affects your emotions. The experiment with Smith didn't work, so we went back to the dark shades." Harris disputed Zepnovich's claim and scoffed. "I had to fight the costume man who wanted it light. So you have to stomp your foot if necessary. Stomp your foot and say, no, 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 I want it dark." And he said, "Light makes you thinner." And he complained, "You're ruining my whole scheme." "Well, stick your scheme. I want it dark." And so it came to pass. It's as simple as that. You have to think of things, not to be mean or rotten, but good things to help you, to help the show. I thought, quite honestly, that is what helped me help the show. Now for the real reason. Kevin Burns revealed, "I had no doubt that Paul Z wanted to try something with Jonathan giving him a lighter top. But I have no doubt that Jonathan hated it from day one. Originally, it was a light dark top and lighter pants. Then they went to dark pants because Jonathan had a big behind, so he didn't like the way he looked in pants. The darker ones helped conceal this from the camera. But as far as the light top, the truth of it is that Jonathan didn't only wear a back brace, he wore shoulder pads because he was very slope-shouldered, and Jonathan was very self-conscious about his frame. So he always had shoulder pads put into his outfit, like George Reeves did for Superman. They weren't that noticeable, but they were there. Now the problem was that the lighter tunic betrayed that he had shoulder pads. The dark color hid it, and that's why he preferred the darker top. It wasn't so much this notion that the villain had to wear black. Jonathan preferred wearing black, period. So basically, that's why he preferred wearing a dark shirt, because it hid the back brace that he was wearing, as well as the shoulder pads. So I'm going to give my review here. Here we go. All right. As I explained earlier, everybody, I was having computer issues, so I was not able to watch the entire episode again to refresh my memory. But from what we covered here, I did enjoy the episode. I'm going to give it a solid C+. Normally, I would probably give it a higher rating, but like I mentioned earlier, for me, it's kind of like just a rewrite of My Friend Mr. Nobody. But I did enjoy it. Michael J. Pollard did a good job. He was serviceable for the role. And I always enjoy seeing Jonathan Harris play Dr. Smith in his devilish ways. And it was good to, once again, to see the ladies get a little bit of a screen time in this episode, because anybody who's seen More Lost in Space past this point knows that the further we get into the series, the less screen time the girls will get. So I thought that was kind of nice. I like the idea of the mirror universe. And as we mentioned earlier, they're kind of borrowing from Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland. And I've said it before, and I'll reiterate it again, that I think the season 1 really stands out. I know it's black and white, and a lot of people prefer color. But I think you guys will see, if you stay tuned, that when we get to season 2, part of the charm, I think, is going to be lost when they turn to full color and they turn on the lights and they hide the shadows. But that's my opinion, like I said, and everyone's welcome to their own opinion. Tomorrow, God willing, if I get my hard drive working right, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be covering on our sci-fi horror stream the movie Scanners from 1981. One of David Cronenberg, the great David Cronenberg's movies. If you're into body horror, I definitely recommend you tune in and join us for that tomorrow. And then Wednesday, the following day, Gorilla's Random Thoughts and myself, we're going to cover 2 more episodes of Gilligan's Island. We're currently on season 2. And then on Saturday, I'm going to, if I feel well up to it, if my computer feels up to it, I'll be doing another Rumblings from the Lab. Probably around Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific time is usually when I try to shoot for that time. That seems to be convenient for everybody. Go ahead, Gorilla. Did you have something to say?
I was going to say, welcome, Spidey.
Hey, Spidey. Good to see you there. Glad you could join us. I'm sorry you came in towards the end, Spidey.
Hi, Spidey.
Okay, and with that, sounds like Jill's back. Jill, would you like to give us your review and tell us about your channel? Oh, maybe Jill's not back yet.
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
Yeah,
there she is.
yes, like you said, it is a derivative of a previous episode, but I liked it enough. I really
Mommy,
want to give it an A, but
Mommy.
I'll go
I
for it.
want a birthday snack.
Oh yeah, I'm making one. Ava. I am making you one. Can you wait just a couple minutes?
That's cute. I
Okay.
like that.
I am making her a snack. Snack is in progress.
We believe you.
So I'd give this one a B. It's really great. It's great what logical storytelling structure can do to really help me enjoy the fantasy of this alternate dimension. It is really cool. It's it's a great story about Penny growing up and all that, and realizing she doesn't want to stay in arrested development like this guy who's stuck in the mirror universe forever and possibly is of the mirror universe, which is what it seems to me. And she realizes there's more to life, and she gets to fire a gun and do something heroic to save Dr. Smith. That's fun.
Yes.
Very sweet. So later in Star Trek, we get the Mirror episode, which is an alternate dimension, almost like the original, except for the fascist regime. In this one, we get a literal mirror universe, and so I think it takes the concept a little more literally. But I think it's a lot of fun. It's completely adorable. And we find that the boy has no reflection, so does that mean he's part of this universe? Yes, that's what I think. And that's the only thing that makes any sense to me. If he's actually from Earth and his parents have been dead for hundreds of years or something, then that wasn't made clear through the episode.
And I'm glad they didn't over-explain it. The mystery kind of helps, I think, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it strengthens my supposition anyway. But this is going to be really strange for Penny because now every time she looks into a mirror, she's going, will she be thinking about this guy? Like, oh my God, what is this guy doing? I wonder behind this mirror.
Right.
Should I send him some messages? Should I leave up some passages of novels to entertain him?
That's true. Is he watching me right now? Everything I do?
Oh,
yeah, right.
That's kind of a little bit creepy.
It's super creepy.
That's weird to think about. This guy could look in literally every mirror in the universe and see what's going on. Like that is pretty mind-boggling, actually.
Well, and we don't know how.
Go ahead.
And we don't know how many people that he's encountered in this way. So Penny may be one of his only friends, or one of very few people that he's actually in contact with on the outside of this universe.
And they did mention that lightly. They kind of brushed on it where he said earlier, he said, well, why is referring to watching people in the mirrors? He said, it's not something I usually do, but I do when I get bored, something along that line. So he does, as we can tell, he does get bored a lot. So I'm assuming he spends a lot of time watching through the mirrors. But there's probably a lot of mirrors that have no reflection or there's nobody in there. So I'm guessing if he really looks through all the mirrors, like let's assuming there's thousands of mirrors, it's probably just a handful where you actually get somebody looking back at him.
Yeah, it's an adorable concept that would fit well in a sci-fi show or even a fantasy magic show. So it's good. And so my channel is I'm Antiderivative Jill, and that's also my channel name where I like to celebrate science fiction. Tomorrow I'm going to review the next episode of Star Trek, the original series, in production order. So in production order, oh, wait a minute. Return to Tomorrow? Wait a minute. I forget what it's called. The one with Diana Muldaur. So let me see.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
Let me see what.
And I'll be there, Jill. I have no doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I will be there for the entire thing.
Awesome. That's great. That's great to know.
Yeah, that's what I say. Definitely, that's great. No doctor's appointment. Yeah, that's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Yes, return to tomorrow. I was right. Okay, great.
That is okay.
Because I was getting mixed up with yesterday's tomorrow or all the tomorrows and yesterdays.
Yeah, the names are kind of play on each other, similar.
And then on Friday I'll have a Friday show, probably talk about a UFO episode, and then whatever random stuff we want to talk about then.
Sounds great. And I do want to remind everybody, check out Jill's channel. She had a fantastic stream for Star Trek Day on Friday, and she had Robert Meyer Burnett on there.
Yeah, it was
a lot of information. Yeah, she covered Star Trek 4. The Voyage Home, among other things. So yeah, it's a very fascinating stream.
Thank you. And normally I play it a little more casual on my Friday show, but this was Star Trek 4. I had to go all out for it, and I hope I did.
You did a great job, and I love that movie. So yeah, you did a fantastic job.
Thank
Of course, if you went all out, they took it down.
Yeah, that's how I know. That's how I know
Right.
it was success.
Yes, that's how you. Yeah, and that's how they know you really care when they pull it. It's like, okay, darn you, Paramount.
Got their attention. That's the first time that's happened.
Take care, Dan. I know Dan says goodnight. We will see you soon, Dan. Hopefully, like I said, try if you're still listening, Dan, try to join us for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
When we cover scanners.
Yeah, I hope you have a good night there, Dan.
Sorry to skip ahead to the chat. Okay, and thank you for sharing that with us, Jill. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hopefully the poll's still there. Let me see. Yes, it is. Good. Thank goodness. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, and I'm going to share the results with everybody so we can see what everyone voted for. So bear with me here if my computer doesn't decide to lock up. I've been lucky so far tonight. I think we can make it to the end. There we go. All right. There we go. Here's the results of our poll we had in the chat. So the question is, what grade would you give the magic mirror? We had a total of 16 votes, and it looks like nice. We got 50% giving it a B plus to a B minus, 43% giving it an A plus to an A minus, 6% with a C plus to C minus, and it looks like nobody voted for D plus to F minus, which is great. So that means everybody enjoyed it one way or another at some point or another. So that makes me happy. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And I apologize for using the word enjoy twice in one sentence. Oh, I'm tired. It's like everything I learned right out the window. Okay, so I wanted to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. And I know we had some new faces out there, which makes me really happy. And I appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so yet, please consider hitting the like button, maybe subscribing to my channel. And also subscribe to some of the channels that hear from these wonderful people you see here on the panel. They've got a lot of things to share that I think you will enjoy yourself with. And before I end this, if my hard drive doesn't lock up, I was able to get the preview for next week's episode. So we're going to end on that.
Oh, that's
Should we
great.
catch up
This
with
was
the
fun.
chat before we play the
Yes.
thing? Finish up the
Yes,
chat?
thank you, Gorilla.
All right. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Mikey says PvP. Christmas is less than 4 months away, and then Scurvy here says PvP. Don't drink all the eggnog on October.
No, I'm not planning on it.
Got to stock up in November.
Dan says,
It probably won't hit the store shelves till the middle of October anyway, at the earliest, I would think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
"Yeah,
Gotcha.
Dan says, good job, panel." Well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
Mike-
Dan, it was great having you here.
Mikey says eggnog sales are coming soon, PvP. And Dan says, "I will return." Glad to hear that. Mikey says,
Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, that's fantastic.
and we got a new subscriber, Armando Palicios Sommer. Well, thank
Welcome, Armando. Good to see you. Fantastic.
Yeah. And Gong Gig is written on PvP's
Gong?
beer in yellow. Eggnog backwards. It's written on PvP's
Oh,
beer.
okay,
in yellow.
gotcha.
Oh, jeez.
And,
Yes, do check out Gorilla's Random Thoughts channel. Fantastic.
and Jake says, "Hello, Pie." Dan says, "I'm a serious comic book collector. Color is a huge aspect of storytelling in comics." Well, Daniel, if I ever get off my lazy ass, I'll be doing shorts on all my comics I inherited from my dad. So
Yeah, Dan, and there's another, we have another good friend of ours who's on the chat sometimes, Mad Scientist, who also collects comics and trading cards. I was just talking to him earlier today about that.
yeah, you should do like videos and shorts with them.
I'm going to try to talk him into it. Yeah, he it's a lot of it is like Pokemon. He'd get along good with Cinnamon Bunny.
Yeah, and Jake Seal says a solid B is as good as a decent B plus.
Absolutely, I agree.
And Canadian Spider-Man saying hello, Pops, Jill, PvP, and me.
Good to see you, Spidey.
Scurry. Then here's everybody saying hi. Lemon Pie says, Gorilla, I haven't exactly been myself, but I will not disappointment.
There you go.
Nice, Kirby.
I have to go deliver that snack now, so I'll be away. If
Gotcha.
it ends
Mikey,
then. Good night,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Jill. Thank you for helping me tonight.
Welcome.
Mikey says, Pop, idea for your next horror film review. Thinner, based on the book by Stephen King.
I will consider it.
All right. And Spidey saying hi to Livin, and Mike, good to see Mikey.
Oh, what a great turnout tonight. I appreciate it, everyone.
Scanner has the great Michael Ironside in it.
Yes, it does. I love Michael Ironside.
Yeah. Dan says, everyone, I need to go. That's a thing. I think he's saying thanks for a great show. Not a problem.
Fantastic, yes.
And
Okay.
Dan gave a thumbs up and he subscribed.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
All right. He also said to Jill, that's fantastic. You're going to love her channel.
Checking out other channels. Scurvy says, thanks, Pop, Jill, Grill, PvP, in no particular order.
Well, thank you, Lemon Pie, for spending time with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scurvy. And that is all the chats, so.
Okay. So thank you, everybody in the chat. And most of all, thank you, everybody on the panel, for helping me out tonight. And I know Jill's away from the microphone right now, but I want to thank her for doing a fantastic job on putting all these slides together for the episode tonight. That's a lot of work. So without her generous help, I wouldn't have been able to make it tonight. So I really appreciate that again. And with that, hopefully my hard drive will hold up. I'm going to show a clip from next week's episode of Lost in Space. And here we go. And good night, everybody. And I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, good night, everyone.
I am called Quano.
My son wishes to meet yours in a series of contests. A meeting in which they pit their skills and strength against one another.